Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Keisha Parris Show. I have with me today Mac, the designer, okay? And he has a company or a brand by the name of SORTA. Okay, so we're going to get into all of that today. Welcome, Matt. Thank you so much for coming to the Keisha Parris Show.
No, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit. How did you get into fashion? You know, how did you become this big designer?
Definitely not there yet. But
Yeah.
that's the plan. So I go by MacPay first. I own a brand business called SORTA, and it started off as a vintage shop, you know, selling vintage clothes, and it's become more of this reworking. I have designs and plans for different pieces that I want to get done. I've definitely not been as proactive as I need to be, absolutely, but thank God for our cameraman Semaj. He be putting that fire on my back.
That's good.
But yeah, so it just started as a love for fashion and shoes. My dad definitely instilled that in me as a younger kid. He was always working for Nike, or not, he didn't work for Nike, but he was wearing Nike, working for Wilson, always traveling. So he definitely had that swagger that I looked up to and tried to
go after or
yes.
yeah.
I told him I was going to read a thesaurus last night
Okay.
to, you know, up my vocabulary.
That's all right. So you basically wanted to just walk in your father's footsteps.
In a sense, absolutely. I do remember in high school I would take theater and art classes. I was always very artistic as a young kid, I'd like to say. Sadly, I let a lot of that go. I let teachers, you know, influence my love for art and let them ruin it in a sense, you know, when
Wow.
they get very technical and like it's art. Art
Right.
is, you know, especially nowadays, anything passes for art. So I don't know how you can be so like, it gets me, you know?
Yeah, it's all about expressing
Exactly.
and creating, you know, whatever you have on the inside, you know? That's like, I love that.
You can teach art, but there's like, exactly, there's something about it like you can't teach. It's inside of you.
Yes.
So, yeah, as a young kid, I was definitely way more artistic. I need to bring that back out of me, but I've always loved designing, drawing, and getting to work with a sewing machine was definitely a fun experience. I haven't mastered it, that's for sure. There's a lot of people out there better than me,
Yes.
obviously.
You got to start from somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. That's one thing I will say is hard as an entrepreneur or anyone. You have this idea in your head and you want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of things I put off because I'm like, oh, that's not really the way I want to do it. But in a sense, you're never going to expand or grow the way you need to unless you just start doing things.
Exactly.
And I need to take my own advice on that.
That's
absolutely.
Right. Close your eyes and just do it.
And just do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Be like Nike, right?
I just watched that movie last night with my pops.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I forget what it was called, but the movie that they base on Michael Jordan and his shoes. We watched that last night. Very fun. I've been meaning to call up my buddy who works for Nike and see what he thinks about it.
Nice. Amazing. So you started as a young kid. You were very artistic. You loved the arts. And how did you propel into starting your own brand called SORTA?
Good question. I guess really I just got tired of I like to say, like, I made this, you know, and
Okay.
not this particular shirt, but, you know, something I'm wearing. I've never understood going out and spending $500 on a T-shirt that has some other brand's name, Gucci, Louis. Like, what have they ever done for me? You know, I'd rather spend $500 on a tee my buddy made that I know he put work, love into, and, like, it's his.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that's really what, like, why am I wearing all these other clothes when I can make my own and, you know, put my name on something or my vision on something and then get to see it on other people. Like when our cameraman wears any of my clothing, it's awesome, you know, seeing other people out there supporting you and you supporting them in other ways. It's definitely a big goal of mine for sure.
Absolutely. Semaj, you're gonna have to take a picture of the shirt that you got on. Semaj is my producer, by the way, everybody.
Shout out
Semaj Sinclair. So shout out to Semaj. This show would not be what this show is without my camera guy and my producer and my, you know, he helps me in everything. Like, he's so creative as well. I should have my Semaj, I should have you on the show.
You haven't been on her show yet.
He's been behind the scenes.
We'll switch positions
We're gonna have
after
to do this. Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. But anyway, Matt, so who are your favorite designers?
It's funny you asked this because I actually planned to be asked this. I don't know if we went over this yesterday when he was, like, you know, throwing me questions that might be asked, but my favorite designer is he goes by Kid Super. His name is Colin Delane. I can't pronounce his last name perfectly. I used to call him Colm. I didn't know how to pronounce Colm. I might be a little dyslexic, but
no,
so
fine.
he goes by Kid Super.
Okay.
I've been following him since, I want to say, around 2012, 2013. So I'd like to think I'm an OG fan, you know. All these new people wearing Kid Super, they weren't really about it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's great to see him evolve to back when he was selling T-shirts for $20-$30 to now he is collaborating with Louis Vuitton, and he has brought art to high fashion, I feel like, in my opinion, and that's something high fashion was missing. In luxury, you know, they just, I don't know, it's not for me.
Right, I got you.
But it's cool to, like, even though it's not for me, it's cool to see him in that kind of position and in that space, because a lot of designers and artists never make it there, or they just get ripped off.
Yeah.
The big companies will be like, oh, we like that design, but we don't really have to pay you or use you for it. We'll just do something with it, you know. But it's cool that they've integrated him into the actual team, and he's doing his thing. So, yeah, that'd be my favorite designer.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Who's yours?
Oh, my gosh. My favorite designer?
Designer.
Jesus. Do I have a favorite designer? I don't really want to promote. They're going to have to pay me to do this. But I'm a Fashion Nova kind of girl.
Fashion Nova? Oh, man. All right, so let's take a little pause right there. Fashion Nova.
Yeah.
So the big thing about vintage, and a reason why I love it very much is, and people can say this and they're just trying to, you know, add on, it's the sustainability.
Okay.
And so when you're wearing fast fashion, as we call it.
Okay.
And which means it was made overseas in a factory by people that aren't paid enough.
That's true.
You know, and there's a lot of factors that go into fast fashion.
You're
and have you
absolutely
seen
correct.
the amount of waste? Dang, I should have came with the facts, but there is a desert that is literally just filled with clothing. Like,
really?
Yeah, all fast fashion, just clothing that these brands don't end up selling. I don't really know how it works, to be completely honest.
Okay.
But there is a desert out there just filled with clothing.
Okay.
And that is the result of fast fashion. And you look at, there's so many vintage clothing, and a lot of people they don't want to go to Goodwill and wear something someone else has worn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you're throwing it in the wash anyways.
That's true.
You know, give it a little oxy bath, you'll be good to go.
That's true. So you take something old and recreate it.
Bring it back to life.
It back to life. So if this dress was worn out, or is it only shirts, or do you go on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just shirts. So like if this shirt was a little more stained up, had some holes and stuff, then I would either try to tie-dye it or cut out the graphic and sew the graphic onto another shirt, or, so I would take some words and make another word out of the words on this T-shirt. But, yeah, the whole point is to bring it back to life. And even if I find shirts that are stained up, wash them, give them an oxy bath, and then they have a whole new life. I can give them to a new home, and that person can make more memories in the shirt that has already had memories. That's also a great love for vintage, is these pieces have stories.
Yes.
Like, I'll buy a band tee off the guy, and he'll tell me, oh, I saw this band 6 times in this T-shirt.
Wow.
And then you're like, all right, I really need to wash it then.
Okay. Well, definitely if we want to, get it back out there.
Yeah. But it's bringing these pieces back to life and giving them more meaning than just going to. I couldn't tell you the last time I shopped at the mall. Like, It's all thrift stores, estate sales, and garage sales. Like, I don't buy my clothes new anymore.
Wow.
If it's new from 1979, still got the tag on it.
Really?
There are some, you'll find, they call it dead stock.
Okay.
DS. And you'll find some dead stock, or they got so many words for it, but you'll find new old items.
Yes.
Like, it's from the 90s, but it was never worn, never used. So it's brand new, but it's old.
That is interesting. You know what? I guess because of the way I grew up, I've always had something new.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That has a lot to do with it, for sure. I grew up, my dad and mom were really frugal.
Yeah.
And it's funny because back in the day when I was a kid, I would hate it. We would go from Ross to Marshall's to TJ Maxx to Goodwill, It's like, Dad, you can't do this without me? Like, you can't leave me at the crib and let me play RuneScape? Like, come on now. But, like, now it's definitely encompassed how I live and whatnot. But it's definitely, I would say, for sure has to do with our upbringing.
It does.
And
it
raising.
Really does. You're absolutely correct, because in my culture, it is so from being from the island of Barbados, the motto is pride and industry. So I realize that we have a lot of the people of Barbados. We have a lot of pride. You would take pride in how we look, how we dress, and it's all about new and upcoming. Even if we do something vintage, it needs to be exquisite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fresh and nice, right? So I love that. So so talk to me about who supported you early on as it relates to you getting into fashion and starting your brand and doing this vintage. Who supported you as you went along this journey?
Back to the family, absolutely. I'm very thankful. My family has always been very supportive. I do remember one of my first big hauls, like thrift hauls, that's what they call it, haul. I went to a thrift store and I came back with like 30 or 40 Red Man tobacco teas. Like, they were all the same tea. They were dead stock.
Okay, dead stock. Yeah. I just learned a new word, dead stock.
They were brand new from like the 90s, and I come home with just bags filled of these shirts, and my dad's like, you really think you're going to sell all those? Like, they're all the same shirt. They're all, I spent maybe $40 on them all together. Okay. And before the night was over, I had sold 3 of them and already made back my $40 and some profit. And so my dad was like, all right, maybe I'll let you, like, he's always supported me, but he'll ask questions and be like, you sure that's really what you want to do with your money? And so after they saw, like, okay, he can sell old crap and make money, like, let's not get on him too much. But they've always absolutely supported me, loved me, and I can't thank them enough for that, for sure. I will say my friends was a different story.
Okay.
My friends aren't into the same, like my best friends, the ones I grew up with. I
Okay.
have friends now that I've made because of the industry and the
okay.
community.
Right.
But like my initial friends, my best friends I grew up with in middle school and high school, they could give a crap less.
Right.
One of them was wearing American Eagle and all that, and throughout Aeropostale.
Yeah.
Homie doesn't want a vintage T-shirt.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
and so, and then my other friends, like, they supported me in a sense. Where like, oh yeah, it's cool. Like, yeah, he has a business, sort of, but like, they're not on it.
Yeah.
You know?
I got you.
And it's a hard struggle, to be honest, because you're like, man, like, I want you guys to support me. Why don't you support me?
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, you can't make them interested in something that they're not.
That's right.
You know? So...
Because that's your dream, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's my dream. I can't make my dream their
Somebody-
dream. You're absolutely right. I've had that
Absolutely.
discussion with my little brother. And like, because I have this whole plan that, like, if we put the family together and put all our resources in one, we could have a crazy business. It's like, well, mom doesn't want to do that, and dad wants to do this, and you know,
Yes.
so you can't make people want the same thing as you. Absolutely
can't.
right.
You can't.
And so I had to come to terms with that.
Absolutely.
It was hard, but because you have people that you've never met, don't even know you, supporting you more than people you've
Your
known your
family.
whole life.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, dude, why can't y'all be more like Ricky Bobby over here? And Ricky Bobby's not even a real person. You've never met him.
Right. And that's to show that, you know what I mean, that even though you have family and you decide that you're going to go after your dream, the people closest to you sometimes, and this is not all the time, but the people closest to you won't support you. It is the other ones, people that you've never met in your lifetime,
Absolutely.
that will say, listen, whatever you have and whatever your dream is amazing. You know, it is people on the outside that sees your potential and sees your dream and your vision and pushes you to a whole different level that you would never imagine.
You're
you
absolutely
know,
right.
you know, and it reminds me of Jesus, who was born, was raised up in Nazareth. Even the people of Nazareth didn't support him, but it was everybody else, you know, on the
love that
outside.
analogy. That was
Yes,
good.
yes. So yeah, absolutely. So that's what we got to do. We got to keep in mind that our dream is our dream.
And
the-
only ours.
And only ours. And what we do is we go after it, and we go after it hard. And we don't let anybody deter us from the thing that we have inside, because it is for us, right, to make that thing become a reality. And if you don't make it become a reality, nobody else will.
Where you been holding her, Semaj? Where you been keeping her? That was great. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you a question as it relates to vintage, because people hear vintage. At first, when I heard vintage, I'm like, what does that mean? I want you to give a little explanation of what vintage is.
Absolutely. So technically, vintage is 20 years plus.
Okay.
So it's 2023 now.
Mm-hmm.
Anything 2003 and before
Okay.
is considered vintage.
Okay.
Now you got a lot of the word has become what is that, like a hot word, or like
Yes.
it's a hype word now that everybody uses to
Yes.
get tagged, like, oh, this is vintage, that's vintage. Everybody's saying everything's
It's
vintage.
right?
It's not.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
20 years plus is vintage.
Okay.
And then you have Y2K, year 2000,
Mm-hmm.
which technically now some of that stuff is vintage, but a lot of people will just put Y2K, like it's from the 2000s, which
Okay.
really is like 2000 to, I'd say, 2009, 10. You have that Y2K era.
Okay.
But yeah, vintage is just, I'd say 20 years, technically speaking. Anything for me, vintage just means it brings back nostalgia.
Okay.
It brings back memories from when I was a kid.
You can't be using them big words and don't explain what it means. I'm sorry, I don't know what nostalgia means. No.
It's that feeling of like reminisce of
Okay.
like, oh man, I used to play that video game as a kid, or
Okay.
I remember that TV show when I was 6.
Okay.
Like, you're reminiscing, that nostalgia.
That's a new word.
We're just teaching you all types of terms today.
I am. Vintage, nostalgia. All right, that's my new word. I'm going forward. Nostalgia. I have to write that down. Okay, go on.
Oh man, I'd write it down for you if I knew how to spell it. There's that. I took all honors Englishes too. That's the crazy part. And like, I graduated and I'm like, I might have a little bit of some learning disability. My dad and brother definitely do, and I just kind of like acted like I didn't, but I'd be like, yeah, I can't spell that for some reason. I really should be able to spell that.
That's right. You said it. I was taught, do not say any words you cannot
can't spell. Oh man, my vocabulary would be very short if that was true.
Oh my gosh.
That's good.
I know. All right. So the Keisha Parris Show is all about motivating people.
You've done it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So as it relates to, what we want to talk about is any struggles that you've had, how you have overcome those struggles to be where you are right now, doing the thing that you love to do, which is designing and turning your vintage work into something brand new. Talk to me about struggles that you have faced.
Struggles. Man, I've been my own worst struggle, that's for sure.
Wow. You got to break that down, baby. Break that down.
So I travel for a living for my real job. I have a full-time job where I'm a technician. I pull Cat 5, Cat 6, fiber optics, all network stuff.
All right.
And so, as I said, I work nights doing that, and it can be a struggle. First of all, being away from home all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm rarely actually home with my family and my loved ones, and that's great for being on the road and being able to thrift. And, I get to source places I would never be able to source at or go to without this job. So that's a plus, but then it's give and take. I'm always away from home, never with my family or loved ones. I'm thrifting and sourcing all this stuff.
Okay.
But then I don't really take the time or put in the effort to get it listed or sold, so it just piles up, and I'm on the road with all this stuff in the back of my truck.
Yes.
I get home finally, and I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. I want to hang out with my family.
Yes.
I want to do stuff at home that I don't get to do.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely been a struggle for me, is prioritizing what needs to be done.
And balancing
the having fun and the actually getting work done.
Yes.
A lot of people will see on TikTok, oh, this guy just went to Goodwill and found a $500 shirt. Like, all right, that's luck, first of all. Anything thrift store related is either luck or you have somebody on the inside letting you know, hey, we got this, come through.
Yeah.
And then estate sales, I sit up on my phone, like after work, let's say I just worked a shift pulling cable, I'll get off. I'll sit on my phone for an hour or two trying to find estate sales within my area that I'm at and seeing what they have. Like, it's not as easy as people just perceive. Oh, they go to a yard sale, find an item, and sell it on eBay for 10 times the profit. Like, you have to know what you're selling, who your target audience is.
Yes.
Target. Like, there's things that Semaj might be able to sell to his clientele that me, I'm like, I wouldn't ever pick that up because I can't sell that. For some reason, there's things that sell great for other people and don't sell great for me.
Yes.
So you have to know your market and what you're looking for.
Okay.
And it takes a lot of time, a lot of prep. I've slept outside of houses at 3 a.m. waiting for it to be 7 for them to let us in for the sale.
Wow.
I've camped out overnight. I personally have not gotten in a fight I walk away before that happens.
I understand.
But there's been
absolutely.
fights, and there's like people like, this is a tough game
Market.
to be in if you're really wanting to get into it. And that's why you see so many people, they'll hop on TikTok and start doing it, and then within a month or two, they're like, yeah, I got to move on, because it's not easy. There are people out here that don't care about you.
Yes.
I will say, I get off topic a lot. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. Go on.
I'll say a struggle for me back when I was with the shoes and messing with sneakers was the community. It wasn't tight. It was everybody's out for their own.
Right.
You know, that no one really cares about you. They just care about themselves and profit at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will say my transition into vintage from sneakers was a world of difference. You had people that actually care about their product and what
Yes.
they're selling, and
Okay.
you know, they like the sneaker industry now, it's all hype.
Okay.
And for sure there's some of that in vintage, but there's mainly people that do it because they love it.
They love it. Yes.
They love it, and that it just became their job. And so that's why the community in vintage is a home, you know,
Right. Is
like,
a togetherness.
yes,
Yeah.
a good majority of it. There's always going to be your,
A
you
few
know,
bad apples.
absolutely, but the majority of it is everybody's friendly. Everybody's not like, they like to share their knowledge.
Yes.
They don't just gatekeep it. And I will say that there's a give and take. Everybody on TikTok just giving away all the secrets. Like, you don't do that.
Right.
In any industry. You're
Okay.
not supposed to do that.
Right.
I had to learn on my own, my
Right.
research,
Yeah.
and then buddies helping me here and there.
Yes.
But no one's out, hey,
This is how you do it.
yeah, this is how you do it. Like, y'all, the game is to be sold, not told.
Right. Right.
So
So it's all about accessing information.
absolutely.
Right now, the way the internet and everything is set up is information.
It's getting crazy.
I know you can. I was talking to the previous guest, and we were talking about how information is so vast out there on YouTube. You could do anything.
Anything.
You
You
can
don't even
learn
have to go to school.
You don't have to go to school. You can learn. I mean, well, you can't be a brain surgeon now. You know what I mean? Like,
Where'd you get your
you
doctor's
can't
degree?
be a doctor but on YouTube or anything like that. But,
No, absolutely.
but pretty much anything hands-on, you know,
Absolutely.
how to change a tire. You know, I was taught that. My previous, friend taught me how to change
Hands-on learning.
Hands-on, like how to do this and crank it up. And this is how, so I could change a tire. I could be out there all by myself and I could change. Do I want to change a tire? No, I don't want to change a tire, but I can figure it out,
Yeah.
So the world is all about information, and that's why, in your, for your craft, that's why they're telling, because it's all about information. And I feel like the more information that goes out there, not everybody is interested.
No, you're absolutely right.
Not everybody's interested. So your craft is still protected. Because I had no clue about the vintage era. Because as you notice, I go and I buy my clothes from Fashion Nova. You're gonna have to pay me for this for this shout out, because I buy all of my stuff from Fashion
Really?
Nova, right? All right, so
We're gonna have to change that.
I know, no, but I'm just
We're gonna
saying.
get you on some vintage. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna have to hook me up. You know what I mean?
We'll figure something out.
Definitely. So what you just told me, and just listen to what you said. Your struggle is within yourself.
Absolutely.
Your struggle is really, putting the pedal to the metal and doing what you have to do to allow your business to take off.
It's self-doubt too, for sure. It's
Ooh.
like you want to be different from everybody else,
Yes.
but everybody else is doing the same thing. And it's how do you make yourself an individual? How do you individualize yourself from the market?
Ooh.
And that's definitely been a struggle of mine. Is just like, man, I'll come home from my business trips and being on the road, and I love shoes. I still have a small personal collection.
Let me see your shoes again. There you go.
Shout out Prism.
You got the shoes. You got the shoes.
So I come home and I'm like, I struggle with, man, do I even need all these shoes? I'm barely home, barely get to wear them.
Right.
Why don't I just sell my collection and put that money, reinvest it somewhere else? And then on the split side, I'm like, I put so much time into, getting these. There's 2 pairs of shoes that were on my list for years that I couldn't afford to where now I got the money and I bought them. And it's like, do I really want to let that go because of this one feeling I get once in a while, or should I hold on and just see where it goes? It's tough.
It's tough. Self-doubt is crazy
Self-doubt.
because if you doubt yourself, then who's going to believe in you?
Exactly. If you're doubting yourself, then why would you expect anyone else to put belief and get behind you if you're not even behind yourself?
Exactly. Because you are selling yourself. Whenever you're doing anything, it is yourself that you have to believe in. And other people's opinion of you does not matter. It really and truly has nothing to do with you. I don't even know who said it, but it has everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. So if self-doubt continues to stay, then you won't ever move forward, So, I love the idea of vintage. I love the idea of taking something old and making it brand new or creating something completely different. I love that idea. And I think that, you should keep going. You should definitely keep going. So where is the furthest your talent has ever taken you as it relates to clothes? Where's the furthest you've traveled for your clothes?
For clothing?
Yeah.
Just for clothing specifically? Or I got to be there? So my job, I get to travel. I was recently in Arizona.
Okay.
I was out on the West Coast.
Ooh.
How
was it?
It's great to visit.
Okay.
I went and lived there. That's a whole different
That's a story. Okay. Let's stay on track.
No, so it's beautiful out there.
Yes.
I got to hang out in Portland.
Okay.
My buddy. So I had 3 weeks off, and I could have either came home to North Carolina or I'm going to go back to the West Coast. So I just hung out at the West Coast, got to visit my buddy in Portland for about 3 weeks, stay at his crib. He works for Nike. And so I got to network, that's the word I was looking for, not anything fancy. Network with the people at Nike and, really get to, these are people actually in the fashion industry, and, and it's crazy what goes on behind the scenes that, you really don't think about. Inventory, packaging, shipping, just all these little things that add up to what Nike has become nowadays, a multi-billion-dollar business. And vintage is definitely, clothing has gotten me out there to the West Coast for sure. I got to hang out with designers in Portland that make their own stuff and, get to feedback and piggyback off their ideas and whatnot. So it's been a great time for sure. It's just struggle being away.
What is your vision for your company?
My vision, I have one, that's for sure. I don't like telling too many people about it.
Okay.
No, but I have plans to open up not so much of a brick and mortar, but I do have plans to have somewhat of a storefront, along with some other things mixed in there.
Okay.
But that's the dream, is to have my own building with SORTA on the side.
Nice.
And get people in there.
That's right. And guess what? This is a perfect place to start.
Absolutely.
So tell me, I want you to shout out your Instagram and your website. Do you have a website?
No.
Not yet?
I look at our cameraman because he's supposed to do it. No, he's not supposed to. He's offered to.
Okay.
I've been putting it off.
So it's you.
It's me. I'm like, I can do it myself maybe, and then never get around to it.
Because you don't have the time.
I say I don't have the time, but I do.
Oh, you do?
I have the time. I just don't make the time.
Come on now.
I know. I'm never one to say I don't have the time, because there's a lot of time I waste, and I'm scrolling on Instagram. And if I really didn't have the time, you would be able to know.
So you are telling me that you are about to do your
website.
Your
I'm about to get
website
on it.
today.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're doing your website today. Is that what you're saying to me?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Because are you working?
No, I'm off right now.
So the website is going to be up today.
All right.
That's what we're saying, right? All right. So what else is going to be up? What else is
Instagram is @_SORTA, SORTA_. Pretty simple.
All right.
You know who had the original SORTA?
Who?
Without underscores?
Well,
it's some busing, like, transportation company in Ohio.
See that?
I'm so salty. It's some acronym, like, service of something, transportation. I'm like, y'all don't need SORTA. I tried messaging. I'm like, y'all know you could change your name, right? Like,
all right. So that's your Instagram. Do you have TikTok?
I do, but I don't ever get on it. I'm a big.
Oh my God!
I know it's great.
Yeah,
it's a great marketing
I'm gonna have
tool.
to. Yeah, I'm
terrible at giving into things like it took me forever to download TikTok, and then I was like, all right, like all my friends are getting all these views, and like it's a great product for marketing, I guess.
It is.
And I just couldn't get behind it.
Come on, you got to do what you got to do to get where you got to go.
But I also don't want to, like, not be myself, you know?
I understand.
There's there's a fine line between doing what you have to and then becoming something that you're not.
So let me ask you a question. If we have all of these social media outlets, okay, in order for you to be successful in life with your brand and doing the thing that you love, why not take advantage of it now that it is free? So you're not changing, who you are, right? And it's not changing you as a person. You are just using an outlet to take it to the next level.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? So isn't that right. Yeah? So
it's something I need to definitely put some more effort into.
Come on now, Mr. Mac, the designer, because you said I am not quite there yet. But
so when she said Mac, the designer,
but you gotta call things that are not as though they are. So if you want to
speak it into existence,
come on, speak the thing into existence.
I like it.
Push yourself out there. You gotta call yourself the designer.
I like
it.
I just don't want to offend real designers.
Nah. but then that's all believing in yourself too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You got to believe that that's who you are, because I'm sure that the designers of now didn't think that they were worth anything back then, but look at where they are now. So call yourself a designer.
I'm gonna
right?
change the Instagram right now.
That's right. And push yourself out there, because if you have Instagram, right? If that's the only outlet that you have, what else you have?
That's really all I'm
That's
on.
it. Okay, you got old people like me that don't really go on Instagram. I'm not old.
You on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook.
My mom too. Man.
Yeah, okay, so I am Facebook not old.
No, I'm not old at all. First of all, black don't crack.
That's right.
Damn.
Come on now, that's what I'm talking about.
Second of all, age is a perception.
That's right.
Age is a number.
That's right. Because I'm 25. I'm telling you.
Hey, man.
That's right.
25. I was thinking like 21. Do something for me.
That's what I'm telling you. Mac, I like you. I like
you too. I'm very appreciative. Like, thank you for having me on here. I've only done one of these before. And I feel like I was a little bit more of a scrub.
Now you're an expert.
Now I'm a designer.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm in here like swimwear, baby.
Yes, swimwear. I love that idea. My daughter, I'm not gonna push it out. My daughter have this great idea regarding swimwear and the Caribbean. So I'm gonna just that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I got you.
Because I feel like her idea is so amazing. I'm gonna bring my daughter on the show too. She's a beautiful girl. Yes, hands down. So back to you, Matt the designer. So if you're only on Instagram, how people like me that only like Facebook gonna see you? Because I like TikTok.
Right. I feel like it's so overwhelming having to deal with multiple social media pages.
Get help.
I need help in a lot of areas.
Yes. And there is so much help out there. You know what
There
I mean?
is. No, your cameraman, Semaj, has been great.
Yes, yes, yes. He is the bomb. He is the bomb. Where are your clothes listed?
Right now, I have a Depop, which is, you've never heard of Depop?
Absolutely not. You see what I'm
so,
saying?
So do you know, like, Poshmark?
No,
Macari? eBay. You gotta know eBay.
Yes.
Gotta know eBay.
I do.
All right. So
Thank you.
these are all selling platforms.
Okay.
And so right now I have most of my stuff listed on Depop, and I've been trying to figure out the transition. I've been putting off transitioning all that into not only a website.
Okay.
But see, I'm more worried. I'd rather be on multiple platforms with selling, like having my stuff actually listed, being on Depop, Macari, Poshmark, eBay, all that, than me worrying about, all right, I'm on Instagram, I'm on MySpace, I'm on Facebook, Twitter.
MySpace.
Hey. It's vintage. We still rocking with MySpace.
MySpace.
We're bringing that back, all right?
Okay, all right.
You got music on your page. My mouse is...
I can't remember last time I heard about MySpace.
Was the jam.
It was, but now.
So my focus is like, if I'm really focusing on all these different platforms, I should probably do it with the selling part, and then worry about the marketing. I feel like, because I don't want to market myself and then there's there's nothing there for people to get. So it's definitely been a journey and a progress, to say the least. But like I said, my biggest struggle is myself.
All right, so we're going to have to push yourself.
We're going to push.
We're going to work on yourself, because I see so much value in what you are doing. And I believe that this is an industry that people do not know about, because I've never heard of it, okay? And I'm sure I'm just a tad bit older than you. Just a tad bit older. Listen, just a tad bit older.
Just a sprinkle.
Just a sprinkle. So I'm a little bit older, and I've never heard of it. So I feel like in order for you to push, to go to the limits, in order for you to continue to do what you love to do, you're going to need to really get on these platforms so that you can drive people to your marketplace. Absolutely. So you can drive people to these vintage items that you have. Do you only do clothes, or do you sell everything?
I'd say a majority of it's clothing. I have a little bit of everything. I still have sneakers and shoes. Okay. Just sold 2 pair this morning.
Nice.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. All right.
No, I got some posters, Okay. And that's a tough thing when you're out here sourcing and you see some cool stuff. Like, it might be cool to you.
Yes.
But is it going to make money, or is it just going to pile up and take up space?
Well, you never know until you push it out, right?
I guess not.
You don't never know. You got to push it out. You got to push it out. You got to sell yourself, because you're smart. You have charisma. You have everything that you need to push your product out there.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? So why not try it, push it out, and see what it does? Close your eyes and do the thing.
And not worry about the failure.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. So I had someone here that said, and I'm taking this from him. His name is John Goodwin. He says, failure is when you do not try. Okay? When you don't try, you failed. But from the time you try, you have succeeded. Okay? Because what happened is you give it a try. Even if it did not work out, it didn't mean that you failed. It just means that you didn't work out. Now you need to change it switch it up a little bit, do something different, but you tried. So failure is not trying. So just give it a try and do it and see what happens. Yeah, because I like it. I like your stuff. I like what you're saying. Do you have examples of some of your work?
I didn't bring it.
You didn't bring it, but you can send it.
Yeah, we'll send it in, and we'll let the cameraman do some of his
thing.
Editing right here.
Yes.
Be like, so this piece right here.
This piece right here.
A piece I put together with an old blank crew neck, and then I cut up a cactus plant flea market hoodie
All
which
right.
is a brand designer, and so they had letters on it, and I spelled out SORTA, the brand.
Nice.
And then a heart that's cut in half. So it's like sort of heartbroken is kind of the message.
Ooh.
And then on the back actually is a piece sewn from Virgil Abloh's IKEA collab that he did. He made furniture and carpets. So I had actually bought the carpet for retail, and it came in this huge canvas bag. And I cut some of that up. And so, yeah, so I have some pieces I have a collection right now I'm putting together, all reworked socks.
Okay.
Like I've put in socks on clothing, kind of a ode to Cactus Plant Flea Market.
Okay.
They did a collab with Nike, and to where they put like a sock on a pair of shorts, and just it looks kind of weird, but I liked it. You know,
Yes,
it's different. And so it started with me just doing it for personal. I had a pair of old Nike shorts that had no back pocket, and I had these Galaxy Nike socks, and I was like, I want a back pocket on my shorts, and I'll do it with the sock. And so now, and then I made a matching crew neck, and now I'm putting together a whole collection of just pieces with socks on them. But like they're cool. They're not just like, all right, the socks on here, that's it. Like they're put in different ways, and definitely some thought went into the design. I promise that. So I have that collection.
Nice.
And then that's what I want to. I don't want to. I mean, I have pieces that I just one piece drop, but I also want to put together collections and collab with other people.
I love it.
So that's the plan for sure.
Awesome. I love your plan. High five.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
This has been
Absolutely.
a joy.
Absolutely. So on my show, you have to encourage somebody. So I want you to give a few words of encouragement to anybody out there, whether it is in your industry or whatever the case may be. Want you to look in that camera and encourage the audience out there.
All right. Well, I'll say for people in my industry, people I can kind of relate to, don't give up. Like I said, that self-doubt that you may feel here and there, we all feel it. No matter whether the people are admitting it or not, we all have self-doubt somewhere deep in us. And it can be hard to get over that and struggle with it, but I promise you, if you keep on going and just, like she said, just try. Try your best, I'd hope, but just try. And it's so much better than not trying and then feeling like a failure. And you may not find a $100 tee or a $500 tee. I've never found a wrap tee, and I've been doing this for at least 5 years. But it's about the hunt and the willingness to just put yourself out there no matter what. So I'd like to encourage you to not give up and just be you. That's a big thing I think I like, is just you have so many people trying to be something they're not, it feels like. It's like, just be you. And whatever that looks like, whether you think it's weird, whether other people think it's weird, like she said earlier, other people's opinions don't matter. The only opinion that matters in this world is yours. And sometimes your family's, because they be looking out for you. But really, the only opinion that matters is your own. And that's it.
Amen. I love it. Absolutely. I love it. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me on the Keisha Parris Show. I want to thank you, Matt, for coming. It has been a pleasure.
I definitely want to come back. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yo, dude,
ain't even done yet, but I'm going to be back.
I'm telling you, keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is nice. Like, I love it. Hands down, I love it. I love your charisma. I love the things that you're doing. Don't stop. Like, don't stop. Don't stop.
I'll try not to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much for coming to the Keisha Parris Show. I have to shout out my Auntie Jackie, right? Because, you know, Auntie Jackie, her birthday was on May the 12th. So my Auntie Jackie, happy belated birthday.
Happy birthday.
Woo, woo. So happy belated birthday, Auntie Jackie. I love you so much. she had her hand in raising me as well. I lived in an extended family, so I had a whole bunch of people hands in raising me. So happy belated birthday, Auntie Jackie. May God bless you. And thank everybody for joining me on the Keisha Parris Show. Join me again, same time, same place, at the same hour next week. May God bless you.